letters, one meaning. Let's go.
Came a long way sitting in a prison, thinking it was the only place that ever fitted. Now Michael Morton with us, and you know we got the vision. This is not a competition, man, it's all about the mission. This is them to the rock, you don't stop. The show start on a weekday, right at 7 o'clock. Mad Miles in the booth, we got Johnny on sound. Call Julie the boss lady, let her know what's going down.
This is them to the rock, you don't stop. The show start on a weekday, right at 7 o'clock. Got the paparazzi, call him Danny Cambo. With the picks, you can't pick, every one of them is gold. And that one young lady that wants you to be free. Everybody say it with me. Love you, Mama P.
Hey, welcome to Recovery Unplugged. Today was one of the best days of my life because in recovery, I saw God here. I saw a bunch of kids that are going to take this program seriously because of Richie Super. It let the kid out. Woo, boy! And we are in Florida.
Yes.
No, this was actually very, very special for me because in recovery, the only way to keep it is to give it away. And today was just as beautiful gets.
And I want to thank you for doing that and witnessing what we do with music because it's been a part of everybody's life, you know. Like we said, the first thing you heard was your mama's heartbeat when you were in the womb. Mm-hmm. And that's music right there. Mm-hmm. So we're just taking it to the next step.
Yep. Music is, and we will prove here, the strongest drug of all.
Came a long way sitting in a prison, thinking it was the only place that ever fitted. Now Michael Morton with us, and you know we got the vision. This is not a competition, man, it's all about the mission. This is them to the rock,
gather round. Michael Bolton, into the rock, baby. Okay, here's what I want to do, Zach. I've been watching TV a lot lately. Yeah. We've been doing radio for so long. This is a whole new gig, right? Okay, so I've been watching, like, how they start a show, okay? That's where I'm stuck, is like, how do I start the show, okay? I come in, it fades in, and I just go, I come in and I go, good afternoon, welcome. Michael Bolton, M2 The Rock. Ooh. That's the way it is. I don't know how to do this stuff.
Very Walter Cronkite.
That was very Walter Cronkite. Good afternoon. It is March 27th, and today is a great day. It's Wednesday, March 27th. I'm Michael Bolton, and I am host of M2 The Rock. Welcome. We have got an incredible... See? That's just... I want to be different than everybody else. I mean, I want to come in like this, and we'd go, baby, Michael Bolton, M2 The Rock, baby, the rock that don't stop.
Yeah.
Woo! Woo. That's what we do up in here, baby.
Yes.
Now, that's a TV show right there. People will watch that, right?
I'm into that.
Okay, let's do that. Michael Bolton, M2 The Rock that don't stop. Welcome to the show. Today's No Wiggin' Wednesday. If you're just kind of going down the timeline, or YouTube's popped up, or Twitter's giving you a notification, or something's happened, what the heck did you stumble across? Well, guess what we do on this show? We talk about drug addiction. We talk about alcoholism. We talk about hurts, habits, and hang-ups. We're coming to you live from Dallas, Texas, the world headquarters of M2 The Rock, Real News Network Communications. And we have a 1-hour show Monday through Friday where we talk about solutions. We talk that G thing, baby. We talk about God. We talk about all sorts of different ways to get clean and sober, to live a new life, a life of hope. This is a show where we're different than everything else. We don't talk about the opioid crisis are up 6.3%, and we must lock the borders to keep heroin out of our world. And we ain't got time for that, man. I'm a junkie, okay? You take heroin away from me, I'm gonna go get cocaine. You take cocaine away from me, I'm gonna go get something else because I'm a drug addict and I have the gift of willingness, and I'm willing to go to any length to get my fix. Today, I have the willingness of recovery, and I'm willing to go to any length to stay clean and sober on a daily basis. And we got a great show today. This show is brought to you by Recovery Unplugged, the great Recovery Unplugged. What an honor to be a part of this great team out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Virginia, Nashville, Tennessee, Austin, Texas, coming soon to Plano, Texas, and this just in. A hot report from the great Cynthia Smoot, our publicist, on Friday, March 29th, here in studio on the show is going to be Andrew Sawson. I probably ruined the last name, but I need to get it right because he's my boss.
Oh,
but
man.
he is our he is the owner, the CEO of Recovery Unplugged. He's going to be in studio. So he's going to be in studio to meet. He's going to be in town. He's going to be sitting at the table with us at the M2 The Rock table at the Great Fashion Stars for a Cause this Friday night. I've got an incredible team that's going to be at the table. Our in-studio guest today is the great Ashley Berges, my girl, the official licensed therapist of M2 The Rock, back in studio. Ashley, welcome home.
Oh my gosh.
It's been so long. Where you been?
I'm glad we're reunited. This is feeling good. I love this.
And you need me because I fix you.
Yes, you fixed me.
I give you a lot of gratitude. You leave the studio, you go, God, I'm glad I'm not that. I'm glad I don't have his story. I'm exhausted hearing him too story.
Come on.
That's what I do. I give people gratitude, right?
I love it.
But
I love
yeah,
it.
so Friday is the Fashion Stars for a Cause. It's going to be at Dallas Country Club at 7 o'clock. And here's our table. Check this out, Zach.
Yeah.
Our table consists of M2.
Uh-huh.
Mama P, Paula Holman, she'll be at the table. This is a result of Mama P.
Yeah.
Paula Holman. We're gonna have Amara Durham, who is an interventionist.
Cool.
Amara Durham Consulting. That's what she does. Is she deals with people who are dealing with loved ones or family members in recovery. You know, she brings them in. She says, listen, we're going to get him to treatment. We're going to get her to treatment. When they get back, we're going to hook her up with Ashley Berges. I mean, all this stuff. She orchestrates everything. I'll take care of the bills. You're going to give me your money, but I'm going to handle everything. All the stuff. She handles all the details. She's going to be at our table. Markeitha Washington with Arise.
Yeah.
She's going to be at the table. Ashley Berges, the official licensed therapist, will be at our table. Andrew Sawson, the owner of Recovery Unplugged, will be at our table. And somebody from marketing for Recovering Unplugged is going to be in town. So he's bringing someone from corporate into Dallas. So we're also going to go see their new campus in Plano. I really hope that we get to go see the new campus in Plano, Texas, in North Dallas.
Yeah.
And then also... Mama P, Paula Holman will be at the table. Rachel Stacy, national recording artist. My girlfriend, Rachel Stacy, will be at the table. And here, y'all ready for this?
Who you got?
Judge Jennifer Bennett. My girl.
Yes.
Judge Jennifer Bennett will be at our table. I met Judge Jennifer Bennett in 2012, and I had my best attire on. I had stripes on. I was wearing a striped jumpsuit, and I had bracelets on. I had these gorgeous silver bracelets on. They were called handcuffs. And I was performing a job interview, and I was stood in front of her in her courthouse on this X with my hands cuffed for the very first time, trying to convince her that she was wrong and I was right. Well, guess what? That was my first mugshot. 26 mugshots later, I think Judge Bennett is right, because she told me, she says, M2, she didn't call me M2. She says, Mr. Moulton, let me tell you something. You're going to mind somebody, and you're going to mind me. And look how God works. I mean, God works amazing things, and she's amazing, and she's going to be at the M2 The Rock table on Friday night. Ashley Berges, welcome to the show. Welcome to the new studio. You are a huge part of M2 The Rock. You've been with us since day one. Get you back in the rotation on Wednesdays.
Yes.
I was on a radio show a couple days ago in Vermont. We were talking the other day, and he spoke very highly of you. You've been on his show. You're very well known around the country. Ashley Berges, the official licensed therapist. What have you been up to? How's everything going?
I've been doing good, actually. It's actually funny. Keith actually sent me some pictures of his dog too. So
okay,
we send back pictures of each other's dog back and forth. I think we're trying to win some sort of contest, but nobody's ever gonna pick the other person's dog, right? It's like, well, look at my dog doing something cute, you know.
Right.
But I've been doing good. Life has been good. Seeing clients as usual, and getting some new clients here and there, and it's kind of neat because it's all over the world. So
right.
it's constant figuring out what time zone somebody's on and trying to figure that out. But I'm loving life, and things are great.
Well, you're very well respected in your field. I was telling Keith, right?
Yeah.
Keith, when he was interviewing me, and he mentioned, hey, we have a mutual friend, Ashley Berges. And I'm like, and I always freeze up when they say, hey, we have a mutual friend. It's still the paranoia of the past, the wreckage of the past. And I kind of freeze up just a little bit. And he goes, Ashley Berges. And I go,
You're like,
okay, cool. I don't owe her money. But anyways, I go, cool. And so we were talking, and I shared this with him, and I mean this. Ashley Berges, you're one of the very few people in my circle that is a normie. That understands our disease. I mean, you really, when I talk to you, I really feel that you're engaged. And when you nod your head up and down, you're like, you know what? I understand your solutions to your problems. I get it. Yeah. I didn't go down that road, but you understand that alcohol and drugs is yet a symptom. You know, it's an external expression for an inward problem. We had Margie Wright on yesterday. Okay. And I thought about you when we were talking, and I was asking what was the pattern that she's hearing about suicide, and the pattern of the calls that she gets in the Suicide Crisis Center. And I called you last night that the pattern that we're hearing is relationships. You know, relationships, failed relationships. Their solution to a relationship problem is to take their life. To take their life away. What's your feedback on that?
Well, relationships are really important facets in all of our lives. I think that many of us, we have, you know, the love relationship, the romantic relationship, even the marriage, and even our friends. When we get treated wrong or treated poorly or we're in codependent situations, we have a tendency of overreacting. We also get very emotional, and things can happen. And sometimes when we're in toxic relationships, right, those ones that aren't good for us, we might not even be aware that we're in a toxic relationship, and we can be pushed to a point of basically, in that case, no return. And so I think it's really important. A lot of times we don't realize the toxic relationships. We don't realize when we're being manipulated. We don't realize when we're in a full-on codependent relationship. And especially what happens in these situations is that when it becomes overwhelming, people turn to what? Alcohol, drugs, food, sex, whatever that looks like.
Or another relationship.
Another relationship.
Yeah. I mean, I got to change the way I feel immediately.
Right.
So
I don't want to look at myself either. I just want to jump right in.
Right. And that's what we do. I can relate to that. So I'm Michael Moulton. I'm host today of M2 The Rock. We have in studio the official licensed therapist of M2 The Rock, Ashley Berges. When we come back, our topic today, we're going to talk the word stigma. Stigma. What is it? I mean, how is stigma created, and what's the solution to stigma? How do we overcome it? The stigma of drug addiction, alcoholism, and suicide. And I have a personal story about one of my suicide attempts and the stigma, how it was very hard for me to maintain living. Michael Moulton, M2 The Rock. We'll be right back.
Three words, 8 letters.
You want to stop?
No, I just want you to sing.
Take a little time to draw the line, grab a bag of your favorites, moving time, you'll see. Get a little closer, pedal to the metal, that's all we need. Top down, shades on, racing now for speed.
My girl, Michael, cut. Rachel, I gotta stop you for a second. Michael Moulton, M2 The Rock Radio with my girl, Rachel Stacy. We have got a special announcements for everyone in Lexington, Kentucky.
Hey,
Lexington, Kentucky, June 8th. Rachel, listen, I need you to do something for me.
Yes.
We need to pack the bags. You, me, Mama P. Mama P, we are going to Lexington, Kentucky. Kentucky. For the Blameless Children event.
Yes.
The Blameless Children event, Andrew Hager Live. We will be there on June 8th. Your headliner, the one, the only national recording artist, my girl, Rachel Stacy. You excited?
I am super excited. Andrew and crew, it's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be
awesome.
awesome.
Finally get to meet them.
That's right. The Blameless.
Video stuff's great, but I like, touch people, say hi.
That's right. The Blameless Children, June 8th. We will be there. Mama P, M2 The Rock Radio, and my girl, the headline event, Rachel Stacy, national recording artist. So get your tickets now. Reach out to Andrew Hager Live and find out what do we do, how do we help out. If you can't be there, make a donation in any sort of fashion that you can to help the blameless children, the children who are left behind as a result of this deadly disease of drug addiction and alcoholism. We love you. We can't wait to see you, right, Rachel?
I can't wait. I'm excited.
June 8th, Lexington, Kentucky, the Blameless Children event. See you there.
Came a long way sitting in a prison, thinking it was the only place I'd ever fit in. Now Michael Morton with us, and you know we got the vision. This is not a competition, man, it's all about the mission. This is M to the rock, you don't stop. The show start on a weekday, right at 7 o'clock, man.
Okay, I gotta get better at this. Hey, Zach, Ashley, you see this right here?
Yes.
You see that?
I see it.
It's supposed to do that.
What?
Yes.
It's supposed to do that.
It's supposed. See that? It's just.
I kind of like it.
It's supposed to do that. So then what I do is I take it and I put it up here like that. That's what I do.
All right.
We'll get you a little clippy.
Yeah, I need a little clip. I did. I have it. I put it in a man. Was it a man bun?
Man bun.
I put it in a man bun, and I did FaceTime with Cynthia Smoot to go over some stuff, and she goes, "Are you wearing a man bun?" And I said, "You caught me. I got a man bun." Because like when I'm working, it falls down in my face. But so when you see this like that, that's supposed to do that.
That's intentional.
It's a photo opportunity, right?
I like it.
Oh, God. All right, welcome back. Michael Moulton, Into the Rock, where we talk about drug addiction, Recovery Unplugged. Thank you so much for your sponsorship. DFW Coin and Jewelry, Fashion Stars for a Cause, this Friday night. And real quick, speaking of that, starting today, the 27th, at the Sheraton DFW Airport Hotel. Burgess, you got to check this out. Okay. I mean, it's Recovery Week, and they start today at the Sheraton DFW Airport Hotel. It's the DFW Behavioral Health Symposium. We had Gary Cochran on the show Monday, and he is talking about it. But it's an event. It's just a big get together about recovery, treatment centers, all things, products in recovery. I'm going to be going out there this evening at 7:30 for the big kickoff party, and I'll be speaking on Saturday, the 30th, at 11 o'clock with Terry Bentley Hill. So Terry Bentley Hill and I'll be up there. We're emceeing the event tomorrow night at Friday night at Fashion Stars for a Cause. Wow. And then we'll be doing that Saturday. Terry Bentley Hill will be in studio tomorrow here.
Awesome.
So we'll have Terry Bentley Hill in studio tomorrow. What a great week. God is good, baby. So that's what we do, and we got that coming up. So we'll keep you in the loop of what's going on. In studio, Ashley Berges, the official licensed therapist of M2 The Rock, longtime friend. We're real friends. We talk all the time, and one of the greatest text messages I got from Ashley was on Monday morning. This goes down as one of the all-time greatest text messages. Y'all ready? Monday morning at 6:45 in the morning, all right? She goes, "Hey, M2, how's your week going so far?" And I said, "I'm really confused here." And the way the text came across, I was like going, "Is it Wednesday? Is today Thursday?" Monday morning at 6:45 in the morning, so I responded back and said, "Well, I've been awake for 5 minutes. So far, it's going perfect." So she goes, she forgot what day it was. But, welcome back. So
I was on a different time zone, remember?
Yes, you were. You were different something. So, but anyways, welcome back to the show. Ashley will be with us on Wednesdays and to talk about her side from a therapist standpoint and questions that we have. Let's talk about stigma. Okay. Our point on this show, what we want to get across is to remove the stigma that comes with addiction. Addiction is a disease. Okay. If I were to come out in the open, for example, Michael Irvin's news that has hit the press about that they took a sample from his throat that he may have throat cancer. Right. All right. It's gone viral. Everybody's pulling together, prayers. Let's help Michael Irvin. Let's get him. Let's come on, God. Let's save this guy's life. This guy's got throat cancer. When we go public and I say I have alcoholism, I have drug addiction, it's a whole different deal. I know we do, but it has a whole different feel to the deal because the stigma has told me that if I have drug addiction or alcoholism, I'm a bad person. That's the way I take it personally. Why is that, Ashley? And what is stigma and how dangerous is it?
Well, any type of stigma is very dangerous because it basically takes something and boils it down to this one little point that says that this is the end-all be-all. There is no gray area. This is the way we look at it. in this particular stigma, though, we're devaluing the individuals that are dealing with alcohol or drug addiction. And I think that the stigma really begins, because I think it's cyclical. I think it's like within our society, it's one of the things we really don't want to deal with, because I think alcohol and drug addiction is way more widespread than we really want to talk about. And so it's easier to make somebody a villain or make somebody bad and kind of get us off the hook. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so that's why I think the stigma grows and grows, is because you have a lot of people that are kind of in the shadows saying, oh, you know, but look at them. They have a real problem, right? And I'll be honest with you. I mean, I don't drink very much. And now, you know, I've talked to you about this. And I really have been on a big health cleanse and I've been very full and open about that. And I have walked around in Dallas. I have been to places and restaurants for lunch at noon on a weekday, and half the restaurant is drinking. Okay, I'm drinking iced tea, and half the restaurant's drinking. We have a big epidemic, but nobody wants to talk about it. And so we put a stigma on the people that come out and say they have a problem, when in reality, I think our country, and I think our world for that matter, really has an alcohol problem. And we could even go further, even with the drugs, but I would even think pharmaceutical drugs, we even have a problem too, but it's the thing that nobody's talking about.
Right, because what happens is it's the easy fix.
Yeah.
You know, for me personally, and then we can magnify it across everybody. If you can relate, then that's great. For me personally, I was addicted to the easier, softer way. I wanted the easy fix. Just fix me, okay? I'm feeling anxious. I'm restless. I want to go to the doctor. I want to get, and I'm not a doctor. There are really real deals out there that people need medical attention. Okay.
Sure.
My personal story is that, you know, they took me to the doctor. The doctor just wrote a prescription, and at a very young age, I was prescribed Ritalin. Okay, I'm a speed junkie immediately. I am a speed junkie out of the gate, and this is what I think normal is. Okay, so I have no sense of reality. I'm paranoid, antidepressant. You know, I can't sleep, sleeping medicine. As opposed to talking to someone and getting to the root of the problem instead of the surface of the problem. And then I'm an addict and an alcoholic, and I don't know what to do. I truly believe part of my story is that's why it took me so long to put the sword down, because I was dealing with the only tools I knew how to live with, and that was alcohol and pills. That's what I thought normal was. You know, if you're anxious, go take a pill for anxiety. You know, if you're paranoid, go take a pill for paranoia. As opposed to sitting there going, why do I feel this way? And getting with a professional like yourself, going, hey Ashley, I feel this way, and I don't know how to get rid of it. And so many people, their solution is to write a script for it.
Exactly, and so many people want that. And I think, like you said, a lot of folks, though, they don't know that there's a way to get to the source. They don't know that they can actually get to the internal issues of what's going on, because there is a part of our society that is selling those pills. They're making money behind that. I'm not going to go into pharmaceutical companies, and there are some pharmaceuticals that have their place. But a lot of times, it's this quick fix that's not really a fix. And then I've also found with clients that when they are on a medication that is taking them off target, so let's say, example, Adderall is a good example. Okay, so they had attention deficit disorder or attention deficit hyper disorder, right? And then they started taking Adderall, and then the doctors started, like, you know, upping their dose, and then eventually, okay, now we have the anxiety, so then they're like, well, let's get you Klonopin or some Xanax to take the edge off of that. Well, then I can't sleep. Well, we're not even dealing with the fact that all of this medication changes your brain chemistry. We're not dealing with the fact that this is a amphetamine salt with 5 different amphetamines in it for Adderall, and then we're adding all these other medications together. And I've seen clients defend the medication when it's obvious that the medication is not helping them, it's actually hurting them, and it's taking them away from actually getting to the root problem, because it's masking everything.
Right, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's masking. You know what's interesting, and I'm always so transparent on this show because I want to help someone. As you were sitting there describing Adderall and the ingredients of Adderall, are y'all ready? Right here in my jaw started watering. Why is that?
You're like salivating right then?
I am salivating right now in my jaw when you said Adderall. I can taste it right now.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, you're physiologically, there's an addiction there.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's a real addictive. Adderall, people say, well, it's not addicted.
Speed.
Yeah, it's very addictive.
It's real.
And when you start, when you change your brain chemistry, like you said in the very beginning, I started taking Ritalin as a kid, right? So your brain chemistry changed immediately over time. So that's the way that you process. You were working at this fast pace, and when you took that, that seemed like you're normal.
Right.
And that's what happens with folks that are on Adderall. But the problem is that they keep wrenching it up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And what happens when we do that is we begin to not sleep. And we have no sleep, and then we have that sleep deprivation. Sleep deprivation makes us do some crazy things.
Yes.
Right? And then all of a sudden, you start going down that slippery slope, and then that anxiety that kicks in. But you're feeling that because your brain has been wired because you've taken that pill for so long. It's wired with that amphetamine. And so it's hard to break an addiction like that.
It is.
And people don't realize. They said it's a pill. You can just get off it. You can't just jump off Adderall. You can't just say today I'm going to stop taking 180 milligrams a day, and say I'm not going to take it. What's going to happen? You know, think about it. You're going to have some real, actual implications.
It was horrible.
You know, trying to get off of it, and a lot of people even have what is it? I'm trying to think. You actually need to go in for like brain scans and what have you else to look at that kind of stuff because you can have seizures coming off of that medication.
Yes, you can.
And a lot of people, and then also think about the benzos. So then you take off that too. That's also a medication that you can have seizures coming off of as well. So those two things can rapidly change the brain chemistry. People go into a full depression. And then you have suicidal thoughts because you're not at that same level of movement, that same action. Because think about it, it's like go, 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 go. And when you're on Adderall, you're the fastest person in the room, right? And so you're so used to that, and it's almost like somebody goes into a Great Depression because it's almost like they stop.
You just described me. I mean, that's exactly right. And being incarcerated and being taken off immediately, I was in a jail cell detoxing, going through seizures, going through the muscle cramps, the sweats and the nightmares because the body was craving for it because I took it for 48 years.
Wow.
48 years. And it took a spiritual awakening for me to finally realize that. But that's recovery. What I'm doing there, and I want everybody to understand what you're seeing me doing. When she's describing that, that happens to me. That's the difference between a drug addict and a non-drug addict, all right? You can sit here and describe chocolate, and I just don't start salad. Some people do, but some people, you know, I don't sit there and have this, and immediately my brain starts thinking about, you know what? Maybe I can take one. That's the disease. And that's why I go to support recovery groups, Ashley, is because I have to be reminded. Like Rachel said, I love this. I'm that kind of alcoholic. I am that kind of drug addict. I need support group meetings every single day. And if I don't go to them, a conversation like this becomes very dangerous for the addict because I start thinking, I can take one. I can take Adderall as prescribed. No, I can't.
Right.
No, I can't. I have never, ever taken a medicine as prescribed. That's a narcotic.
Exactly.
Okay? An antibiotic, I take 4 of them, and I'm like, you know.
I don't want these anymore.
I feel better, you know, and that's the drug addict in me. When we come back, we're going to talk more about, let's talk about suicide stigma, and I'll start the segment off sharing my story about a suicide attempt that I had that Ashley and I were talking about on the phone last night. Ashley Berges, Michael Moulton, M to the Rock. We'll be right back.
What's up, guys? It's B-Rain. We are Cloud Gang, and I'm glad y'all found M to the Rock. Thank you to Michael Moulton, everything that he's doing to break the stigma and be a part of the solution with what we got going on with addiction, with recovery. Make sure you guys check out M to the Rock weekdays. Tune in, make sure you're commenting, make sure you are in the action. You are moving your feet, 1 foot in front of the other, in front of the other, in front of the other. We are Cloud Gang. This is B-Rain. I love y'all. I'm out.
8 letters, 1 meaning. Let's go.
Came a long way sitting in a prison, thinking it was the only place that ever fit in. Now Michael Moulton with us, and you know we got the vision. This is not a competition.
Welcome back to M to the Rock. My name is Michael Moulton. I'm the host. I can't do it. I just can't do it.
You can, you can.
I
get where you're coming from.
I'm gonna start watching TV. I need to figure out how they come back into a show.
Yeah.
You know, radio's easy, man. I just fly in there like a train wreck. You know, just yard sail into the segment, just throwing stuff around.
Yard sale.
But I mean, TV. I gotta just watch TV to figure out. You can probably help me. You're so good at this. I just come back into the segment and I just say, And we're back. I don't know. It's just weird. It's a weird deal. But hey,
Welcome
I'm doing
back.
it. It's working. So
It's working.
We're back. Michael Moulton. I'm your host of M2 The Rock, where we talk about drug addiction, alcoholism, hurts, habits, and hang-ups. We have in studio the official licensed therapist of M2 The Rock, Ashley Berges, my shizzle from Manizzle, and a very close friend, and she's always there for me when I need it, and vice versa. We lean on each other. Oh, there's a great picture of you and I, Ashley. That's back in the day.
Oh, I love that picture.
That's right, when we very first started. So
Man, that's like-
we've been together a long
Yeah, that's
time,
cool.
and you've been such a huge help to me and so many people. If it's anybody that's been on this show, I get more feedback when you're on the show.
Okay.
I do. I
Cool.
really do. I get so much feedback. And I think the reason why, in fact, I know the reason why, and as a matter of fact, I'm seeing actually a comment from Rachel Stacy here. She jumped in. She watches a lot, not comments a whole lot, but you make people feel it. It's so good when a normal person sits here and describes the way we think and feel. We go, oh, okay, come on, Ashley, you're feeding me. You know,
Yeah.
you're feeding me. And when you were just describing that pattern of benzos, Adderall, all these different things, you were telling my story. You were absolutely telling my story. And then recovery, you're telling me to admit that I'm powerless over it. Okay.
Right.
And then you're suggesting to me that I come to believe there's a power greater than myself to restore me to sanity. Step 2.
True.
And I say, okay, I'm not talking about God. We didn't say God, a power. And that's the group. That's
Right.
fellowship. Okay.
Exactly.
And then you're telling me to believe in Casper the Friendly Ghost and put Adderall away that I've been taking for 48 years. I'm like, y'all tripping, But when the pain got bad enough, we put the sword down, and that's what we do in recovery. We're here today with Ashley Berges to talk about stigma, and we just talked about the stigma of drug addiction, alcoholism,
Right.
why it's treated differently than Michael Irvin coming out on the news saying I might have throat cancer, and everybody in the world we're doing marches, we're wearing pink shirts, we're doing parades through downtown Dallas to raise money for this. But I come out, I get arrested, and I come on the air and say I am a drug addict and an alcoholic, and I commit crimes to make my disease accept. It's just crazy. My consequences, the external consequences, the visual consequences are so much more different than overeaters,
Yes.
sex addicts, I've never seen a person go to jail for STDs.
Exactly.
That's a choice.
That's a choice.
It's a disease, but it's a result of a choice,
Right.
So the stigma is what we're talking about. Suicide. Real quick, I shared with you on the show. This is something that hit me yesterday when Margie Wright was on. And there's people out there that probably fight this. I had a failed suicide attempt when I was in high school. I took my car, I ran it into a telephone pole at a very high speed in Plano, was in the hospital. It was on a Friday.
Okay.
It was during the day. It was on a Friday, and I spent the entire weekend in the hospital.
Okay.
I never even thought about what people were going to be thinking about it. And when I returned back to school, I was an elephant man. I mean, people didn't want to be around me. They didn't know what to say to me. They're like, wow, this guy just tried to kill himself. And they just didn't know what to do. The feeling that I felt was so dark. It was so scary. It was so depressing. So I went to the doctor, got something for depression.
Right.
You see how this is working
Oh,
here?
yeah.
And I'll never forget that towards the end of the week, I got a really drunk and high with some people, and they accepted me. And I was back. And I never will forget that. Stigma of suicide. Talk to me about that.
It's the oddest stigma there is. You know what I'm saying? It's like the opposite of everything you're supposed to do. It's why can't you just look at somebody after that and say, hey, I really care about you. I'm here for you. I don't think people want to know what to say. I think that, too, the fear of death and that fear is something that a lot of humans can't overcome. I also think that we're delusional in our society as we think that, well, if I just keep somebody at arm's distance, that they'll just eventually go away. I don't have to deal with the issue. And I think our stigma of suicide, I think that's what's causing more suicides.
Right.
Right? Because we don't say anything. We don't do it. So we wait until somebody actually kills themselves, and then we go, well, what were the signs? Did you see the signs? I don't know why she killed herself. Why did that happen? And then we start piecemealing it together, and we realize, well, so-and-so has been depressed for 10 years. okay? And it's obvious, and nobody wanted to look at the signs. And I think one of the things is we're so caught up in our own life, right? We all got these issues in our own life. We're so caught up. The second is we all want to stay in our own lane. You know, remember when people say keep to your own business, stick, you know, focus on yourself, don't look at them, focus on your own business. I think that's another thing that's causing a lot of problems, because people can sit there and have like, hey, I need help. They can basically say that and everybody's ignoring it, not even there for it. And I think another thing too is that people just don't know how to deal with death. And I think that when we talk about something like that, it really scares the bejesus out of people, because we've never really discussed death. Think about how scared and fearful people talk about death. You know what I'm saying? Even when people die of cancer, okay? And cancer's horrible. But when people die or they're diagnosed with it, haven't you ever, I mean, like my mom goes, so Joanne was diagnosed with cancer. And it's like, does whispering help this? Is whispering okay with this? I don't know if whispering's helping me right now to understand that Joanne was diagnosed with cancer. Can we speak up and discuss this? Now think about in a suicide issue. It's like people are so overwhelmed with the discussion. Why can't we just talk about, hey, I'm upset, I'm sad, I'm really unhappy. And back to your situation. If I would have been the therapist that would have seen you, the idea of putting you on antidepressants wouldn't have even started, because we needed to deal with the trigger of the reason why you wanted to kill yourself. And if we could have gotten there early on at that accident, right after the hospital, you lived and we started figuring this out, you wouldn't have gone through all these mugshots. You wouldn't have been through jail. You wouldn't have gone through all this. You wouldn't have been where you are. Because people would have actually dealt with the real issue. Instead, what was it? Here's some antidepressants. Let me know how you feel. Come back in 4 weeks and talk to me. You know, and then you're like, well, my head kind of hurts. I've gained some weight. I really can't think straight. I got a little bit of this fog headed. Well, let's put you on something else. Now, I'm not saying that every doctor's like that. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that every psychiatrist is that way.
Right. There's a
there
lot of
really
good ones
great
out there.
Ones.
Yeah.
But I think if they would have actually helped you in the beginning, and we could have had this conversation, and if peers would have open arm to you. And see, think about it. The folks that were on drugs and alcohol, those kids at school that accepted you because they're going through sadness, stress, anxiety, depression, hence why they're on alcohol and drugs. And so you were one of them. So you were part of the group. So we're going to accept you. But the sad thing is the acceptance was based on your use of drugs and alcohol. Do you see what I'm saying? So It's a double-edged sword. But you would have really benefited so much if somebody would have just come up to you and say, hey, Michael, I heard what happened. I'm here for you. I'm your buddy, and I understand if you want to talk about something, let's talk, you know. I'm here for you. I'm not going to judge you. It's a judgment-free zone.
Right. And you know what? I bet you that might have happened. I don't remember it. I was so mentally sick and so into self, so angry that I shunned that because I was trying to use my own solutions, okay? Right. So I don't want it to be a self-pity deal, but I want to share. I'm so grateful for my story. I really am. I'm so grateful for my past, Ashley, so we can have these conversations to help someone so they don't have to go through that pain. I want to educate people that, listen, when we're feeling a certain way, get with someone that you feel safe with and have this conversation, you know? And I've been having this, you know, I've had a lot of change in my life. I mean, you know, change is hard. You know, change is uncomfortable for me. Here's the reality, guys. Everyone who's listening to this show, I'm new in recovery. I'm coming up on 2 years clean and sober. I'm raw. I'm new. I'm feeling things I have never felt before. I never thought that I'd be in a relationship and sit down on my first date and look at a girl and say, I don't know how to do this. I've never talked like that. I'm a know-it-all, you know? My whole life, I thought I knew everything. And you and the fellowship of the program have taught me how to be honest, you know? And I'm anxious, and pills aren't the solution to my problem.
No, it's just a mask. And I understand that some pills can help in certain situations, but really, honestly, most of it is a mask. And then most of the time you find people that defend the pill. Yeah. Even if the pill is not working anymore and the pill is actually becoming a deficit, you'll see the client, the patient defend the pill because they don't know life without it, because they haven't gotten to the root of the issue. And so what happens is sometimes people just get off the pill, but they don't work on the real issues. So then they're really even farther into that depth, farther into that sadness, and then they go, see, the pill is all I had. Well, it's like, no, what was the trigger behind all this?
Right, right.
And that's something that most of the time in our society, and that goes back to the stigma of suicide. We're not dealing with the root of the issue. We just want to act like it doesn't exist.
Right. Suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem that is so small. It really is. And if you need help, reach out. Ask for help. Call the suicide crisis line. I've got the number here. The suicide crisis number is 214-828-1000. That's 214-828-1000. Final thoughts. I have a final thought on removing the stigma.
Okay.
And I have a solution because I'm seeing it firsthand in my life on how do we remove the stigma. Let's start with you, Ashley, real quick on how do you think we remove the stigma?
Well, I think, one of the things that we want to realize is that we're all part of this. We're all part of the whole group of us human race, right? And so what's happening to somebody else directly affects us as well. Even if we're not going through something like that, to understand the empathy and the pain that that person's going from really helps us internally to understand who we are. As you were joking around at the very beginning, it also helps you to be more grateful with your life as well.
Right.
But the biggest thing is, right, we are all depressed at some point. We all get down. And when you show compassion for somebody else, that actually means that you actually care enough about them. And I think that's where we start, is when you see somebody down, when you see somebody frustrated, when you see that somebody's isolating themselves, to reach out and just say, hey, I'm here for you,
Right.
is a huge thing. And I think that helps to remove some of the stigma. But also, the stigma of anybody committing suicide, when somebody's in that thought process, they're not thinking straight. They're not thinking clearly. And I think everybody can agree that you've been in a place in your life one time or another where you weren't thinking straight. You weren't thinking clearly. You were going to make a snap judgment on something that you could easily sit back and really think about. And that's what you really want to help other people and realize we're not an island. We're not alone. What happens to someone directly affects us. And if you can stop something from happening like that, you're not only the hero, but it also says a lot about your internal mechanisms and your value system as you as an individual.
Amen. This is my take on stopping the stigma.
Okay.
A stigma is a result, and I'll use an I statement. A stigma is a result of my actions. All right. Everything that I did, I've created this stigma about me that, okay, Michael does alcohol, does drugs, bad things happen. Okay. That means he's a bad person. So that's a stigma that is created, all right? We defeat the stigma by providing success stories, okay? Let's outnumber it. So if we have 10 bad stories as a result of drugs and alcohol, and we have 100 great stories about recovery from drugs and alcohol, the stigma gets removed. Mm-hmm. It moves it away. Let's start focusing on the solution. We'll start focusing on the success stories as opposed to the bad stories. I said this all the time, Ashley. The difference between me and the man underneath the bridge, which I've been both. I have been both. I was that guy, okay? But the difference is one thing, the bridge. That's it. That is the only difference, because this disease doesn't discriminate, okay? And we can go deeper. What is the disease? It's the evil side. It's the dark side. It's Satan, whatever it is, telling me that I'm no good. And it's telling me to go do these things to change the way I feel, to lie to me, that tell me I'm good. And I'm always fighting it. I'm always chasing the dragon. So we need good stories, good news. When you're posting something on social media, how is it going to affect the person that's looking at it? Okay?
So true. How's
it going to affect them? Okay? No slugs. We cease fighting everyone, everything, even alcohol. Love and tolerance is our code. Let's be in solution. Let's post great things. Because when I'm helping Ashley Berges, I'm helping Zach, or I'm helping someone, and I'm out of self, I feel better. I feel whole. And that's sobriety.
True.
That is sobriety. Mm-hmm. And barbiturates, opioids, benzos, Adderall have never given me that feeling. Never, ever. I'm just high, not making a sense and not feeling. Ashley, we love you so much.
I love you too, Michael.
And I'm so excited about Friday night. We're going to have such a great time. You're going to look beautiful.
Thank you. I don't know what to wear yet, though.
Well, wear something. Wear something. So
okay, note to self.
There you go. Hey, Zach, thank you for the great show.
Thank you.
And y'all did such a great job. Michael Moulton, Into the Rock. Make sure you share this post out. Ashley Berges has got great stuff that she shared. It can help someone who is hurting. Tomorrow we'll be here live in the studio at noon Central Time with Terry Bentley Hill. You don't want to miss this, the official defense criminal attorney of Into the Rock Radio. Remember, I got 3 words, I got 8 letters, and I got 1 meaning, and that is I love you. Have a great day.
3 words. 8 letters, 1 meaning. Let's go.
Came a long way sitting in a prison, thinking it was the only place that ever fitted. Now Michael Moulton with us, and you know we got the vision. This is not a competition, man, it's all about the mission. This is M to the rock you don't stop. The show start on a weekday, right at 7 o'clock. Mad Miles in the booth, we got Johnny on sound. Call Julie the boss lady, let her know what's going down.
This is M to the rock that don't stop. The show start on a weekday, right at 7 o'clock. Got the paparazzo, call him Danny Cambo. With the pics you can't pick, every one of them is gold. And that one young lady that wants you to be free. Everybody say it with me. Love you, Mama P. Love you, Mama P.